behavior affects the decision of a consumer, a traveler, for instance. Again, this is the part one of our discussion, which is a two-part that focus about consumer behavior. So today we will discuss about the certain factors that affects the decision of a tourist or a traveler to visit or go to a certain destination. All right. Just like strategy, consumer behavior is an area in business that is very integral, regardless of what type of industry are we talking about, whether it's solely about hospitality and tourism or other industry. Consumer behavior is an important area to consider. Now, let's proceed. So, this is the whole picture of how certain consumer behavior determinants, all right, may affect the decision of a person to choose or travel to certain destination. It can be about cultural, social, personal, psychological, economical. But it may sound or it may appear diverse here, but definitely in hospitality and tourism, there are just certain determinants that really contribute or kumbaga, sa sobrang daming factors that it can affect the decision of a tourist, meron pa rin talaga that somehow it is the top determinants that contributes kung bakit pumupunta ang isang tao sa isang lugar. All right. Sometimes it is the combination of cultural, social. Sometimes it's personal, economical, or sometimes it's just it's just about the psychological determinants. It's just about the motivation of a person. It's just about his attitude and so on and so forth. Now, when we speak about consumer behavior, it is one of the most researched areas in tourism. And as I mentioned, not only about tourism but even with other industries. This studies why a tourist chooses a particular destination and what are the driving factors that influence his decision for traveling. Since consumer or customers or tourists are different from one another, they do have personal reasons why they visit certain destination. For instance, you want to relax. There are certain reasons why will you choose to go to Boracay, and there are certain reasons why people will rather choose to go to Baguio, or there are certain people who will choose to go to hotel instead. So although your primary intention is to relax, since you are motivated or you are driven by certain factors, your decision to avail a certain product or services is different as well. Kung baga, sa normal na tao, ilalabas muna natin yung usapin tungkol sa hospitality and tourism industry. When we speak about consumer behavior in other industries, halimbawa manufacturing or just by retailing a tangible product, it is about understanding the reason why people will buy the product. Okay? It's just that in our case, we are specifically targeting or answering the question, which is why will tourists go to that particular destination? Okay? Let's start it one by one. We'll not make it complicated for everybody. All right. What are the factors that influence consumer behavior? First one is motivation. In layman's term, when we speak about motivation, this talks about the driving force that moves people to do something. Alright? Or, sa isang commercial ng kape, ang sabi niya, para kanino ka bumabangon? Ano ang motivation mo that drives you to wake up every morning? What is your motivation to do the job? What is your motivation? Why will you go to that particular destination? What is your motivation to choose Boracay over Baguio? Alright? Motivation are inner drives that make people take specific plan of action to satisfy their needs. Hudson defined needs as the gap between what customers have and what they would like to have, seen as the force that arouses motivation. So therefore, since there is a gap, you need to fill that gap. Alright? And that particular gap that you're looking into is a need, but not literally. It's just about needs. Sometimes hindi mo naman talaga kailangan. For instance, you visit that destination, it's because it is needed in your job. So you don't have any choice but to go to that area whether you don't like it at some point. But sometimes it's not only about the need, why you choose to go to that area or why you purchase that particular product. Sometimes it can also be about you just simply want it or you prefer it. That's why you don't limit it with the needs of a person, but instead you also look at the possibility of the wants and the preferences of the person. Again, when we speak about motivation, what drives the person to go to that area? Is it his wants, his needs, his preferences, or other things that pushes him to do so? All right. That's why we have a theory of push and pull, which is very common. When I had my thesis, when we had our thesis way back 2015, the theory that we use is the push and pull theory. The push are intrinsic and intrinsic forces that push people to go to the area. For instance, to go to the Philippines, what are the intrinsic and extrinsic motivations that 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 is present to a person to go to the area? Halimbawa, all right, I'll go to the Philippines because I want to meet new people. I am motivated to go to the Philippines because I want to see the place. All right, I want to relax. The pull there is what are the characteristics of the Philippines that uh that that somehow appeal, all right, to that motivation. Halimbawa, gusto kong pumunta sa Pilipinas because I want to relax. What are the characteristics of the Philippines that can answer that motivation? Do you have a certain area or destination that is relaxing? Because if there is, I might consider going to the place. Okay? So that's technically how it works. I am pretty sure that you understand where this particular conversation is going through. That what influence a person to go to an area primarily is his motivation. Okay? Second one, these are the common reasons or tourist motivation. One, you just want to escape or change. You want to go out of the normal routinary routines that you normally do from your everyday life. From Monday to Saturday, you're working, then Sunday is family and church day. It's normal. The next week, you're gonna do the same thing. Next, travel for health. Sometimes you're motivated to go to Banahaw, you're motivated to go to China, to Singapore. It's the primary reason is that you'd like to have the medical tourism experience o kaya yung traditional medicine. You travel sometimes is because of the sports, social contact, status and prestige. Nakapunta na siya sa ganitong lugar. Na-experience ng pumunta sa Paris. Travel for education, personal values, cultural experience, shopping and bargain hunting, professional and business motives, search for natural beauty. But among all these motives, all right, the number one reasons, according to research, why people used to travel is for escape. All right, the word escape here is not limited to the escape of what you know. Escape here can be physical. Escape here is the feeling of freedom. Escape here is the feeling of doing something that you don't normally do. All right? Because people will be used to doing the same thing over and over again. But if you visit a certain destination, halimbawa, pumunta ka sa El Nido, it's a totally different animal to you. So, kung sa normal na buhay mo, gumigising ka ng alas 6, alas 7, dapat nakakain ka na, alas 8, dapat nakaalis ka na. Pag pumunta ka sa El Nido, that normal pattern is somehow distorted. Pagising mo ng alas 6, hindi mo kailangan maligo. You can just simply have your coffee, look around, see the beauty. Pag alas 7, you can walk around the area. Pag alas 8, pwede kang mag-swimming. Pwede kang maligo. Alright? So therefore, you can understand that among all the so many motivations of people, the primary reason why they are motivated to go to a certain area, it's because they want escape. They want an experience that is not on the routine that they normally do every day. Next, culture. You know this definitely. In the culture is a way of life. In the riddle, it says there that it is understood by the people that are there. It cannot be seen, but it can be understood. All right? On the other hand, it can be observed by the people that are not there, but they cannot understand it. That is the power of culture. Culture is a way of life comprises of different variables. Culture is a way of life that represents the person. All right? It talks about the values of a person that you would like to observe. It talks about it can be about the language of the people, the traditions, the tools, the arts, the history, and all that. Even the food itself, it's part of the culture. That's why talking about culture can never be done in just one setting kasi excuse me, it's so diverse. Sobrang lawak niya. But then again, uh, if you'd like to offer something, attractions can be man-made, it can be natural, it can be event. If you really want to offer something that is innate and you don't need so many things to add on it, it's culture. You don't need buildings to actually attract people, or you need to go to this area. With Singapore, for instance, diba? It's just a small country. But more than just about the man-made attractions that they are shifting also into their culture, their religion, their language, their food, because it is something that is already innate in the destination. You just need to preserve it. But culture is a continuous and gradual process of development. It is not that you know na yung kultura nung 1965 hanggang ngayon, yun pa rin yun. No, it's not. Alright? There are certain process that adds to improvement or development. Primarily, maaaring yung original form nun, nandun pa rin. Yun pa rin yun on its nature, on its core. But there are so many things that contributes na maaaring nakapagpabago, nakapagpaganda, or nakapagpaiba ng kultura. But it is a factor that influence. Halimbawa, why will I go to that area kung ang makikita ko lang panay naman theme park? Although kung yun talaga yung gusto mo na yun ang pinunta mo, talagang gugustuhin mong pumunta dun sa area. But sometimes, pag pumunta ka na dun sa isang area, sisiguraduhin mo na aside sa makikita mo tong building na to, matatry mo yung pagkain nila, makikita mo halimbawa yung history nila, makikita mo yung mga taong yung mga local people nila, paano sila mabuhay, and so on and so forth. Age and gender, it's a definite distinct factor. It's simply because uh, the motivation or the factors that is considered by women is different from men. In the same manner that the motivation or the factors considered by early adolescent, the senior citizens, the millennials are different from one another. So it is very clear here that sometimes gender and age is a factor that contributes to their decision why they will visit a certain place. Sometimes, for instance, uh, you can clearly say whether a destination appeals to a certain age of bracket. You can clearly say whether a destination appear to a certain group, to a certain gender. But mind you, young people, today we would like it we would like to make we would like to make the attractions applicable to everybody, regardless of the gender, regardless of the age. Because what will happen now kung sakaling ayaw na, 'di ba, in tourism, I don't know whether you encounter that. In tourism, there will come a point in time na meron tayong life cycle of destination. Na kapag ang destination na-meet na niya yung peak niya, kagaya ng product life cycle, mananawa na rin ang tao. What if at this certain stage bracket, nanawa na yung market mo? What will you do now to be able to make sure na yung susunod na generation na merong ganitong age bracket, pipiliin ka pa rin? What if ang naging problema, so pinili ka ng age bracket na to, patok na patok ka. Like for instance, Star City, ganitong age for instance. Although we know, kahit naman sa iba, just for the purpose of discussion, let's assume may certain target lang na pumupunta dun sa lugar. Okay? What if, how will you make sure na itong age bracket na to, pag tumanda to, yung susunod sa kanila na mapupunta sa ganong age, ikaw pa rin yung pipiliin puntahan? What if meron ng magtayo na panibago na mas maganda? Alright? What if meron ng panibagong attraction na mag-a-appeal sa kanila because it's diverse, it's changing? How will you stay relevant with that particular age, with specific age, and with specific gender? Kaya today, although there are certain area, halimbawa, isang destination, merong pwedeng gawin ng babae, merong pwedeng gawin ng lalaki. Merong pwedeng activity ang mga bata, ang matatanda, ang mga middle age, but it is in one destination. Okay? Next, social class. Definitely the economic status is very important. The upper class, the upper middle class, the lower middle class, the working class, the lower class. It's because they're one, not only about their money, their time, and their energy as well. The responsibilities and the priorities really affect their decision to visit certain area. Okay, so makikita mo talaga yung mga area that are commonly visited by people under a bracket of upper class, under a bracket of upper middle class, under a bracket of lower middle class, and so on and so forth. It is very important as well so that the tourist destination themselves can prepare or can provide the necessary services that is applicable doon sa specific bracket na pumupunta sa kanila. Kasi halimbawa, ang target market mo that usually visit the destination where you are involved is the upper class. Since these people are upper class, you need to make sure that one, you expect that they have high income. When it comes to wealth, it's not a question to them. Education, primarily, they have a very good education. Occupation, they may be businessman, politician. Family prestige, mga sikat. So therefore, the kind of service that you will provide and give them is something that is difficult because it should be aligned to the status that they have. Okay? So it's a factor that both the destination and the people themselves, yung mga turista mismo, it is a factor to them, and at the same time, on the other hand, on the other page, the destination itself can use it as a factor to actually make sure that they can provide the overall experience. Next one, the lifestyle. You see in this particular table that I presented, these are lifestyle. Lifestyle is the combination of how people live through the activities, interests, likes, dislike, attitude, consumption, expectation, feelings. You sum it up, that's your lifestyle. All right? Now, that particular lifestyle, how you live your life using the variables indicated here, talks about what will you purchase, how will you purchase it, to whom you will purchase it, when and how will you purchase it, and how will you consume it, where will you consume it, what will you consume, and with whom you consume it. That's why the lifestyle are by no means universal, since it also interacts with culture, economic situation, and personality. And another thing, it is diverse. It is diverse in a sense that there's no one variable that you can only connect with lifestyle. Nasasabihin mo, oh, you can just simply check the activities and there, you can check the lifestyle. No, it's not. For you to check and clearly understand the lifestyle of a person, it goes beyond even to the personality of the person, even to the economic status of a person, even to the interest, to the expectation, to the feelings of a person, for you to actually understand yung lifestyle ng isang tao. It's a pattern of living, so to speak, according to Cutler. Okay? Next one, life cycle. Definitely, life cycle is very important, or another factor to consider. It's simply because changes in humans' life that a person goes through affects his or her decision with the kind of destination, with the type of destination that he will choose to visit. The family life cycle model suggests that travel patterns and destination differ as people move on through the life cycle. Okay? So, when you're single, your preferences are different when you're in a relationship, a new couple. When you have one child, with a child that is a teenager, with a child that's working, and then later in your life. So it clearly shows in this particular picture that again, there are certain destination appealing that appeals to certain stage of life. Life cycle refers to the stages an individual goes through in their lifetime. But then again, the strategy of all of the destinations today is to make sure that regardless of what stage of life the tourists are, there would be activities, there would be products, there would be services that they can offer. All right, next. Another factor, and I guess it's the last for the factors, is the reference group. When we speak about reference group, these are the people that known to be a set of people who have direct or indirect influence to you, to your behavior, to your attitude, to your decision. These people can be a member of your family. You have people in your family that really contributes to your influence when it comes to your decision making. It can be your teacher or your classmate in school. It can be your boss, your co-employees, the priest or pastor, or in other words, these are the people around you that you look up to, that that in the point that they can actually influence your thinking, they can actually influence your decision making, and so on and so forth. It's just that in our discussion for today, we are talking about people around you that can actually influence you to visit certain destination and to choose this particular destination over the other. Okay, so it can be about the friendship groups around you, your friends. It can be about the shopping group if you have the work group, people in your workplace, virtual group or community, the different groups that you have online, or consumer action group. This is the certain groups na kinukuha na nyo ng feedback bago kayo mag-visit o bumili ng mga certain products. All right? But technically, they can directly or indirectly influence you. Now, I guess this would be the last. I'm sorry. Personality and self-concept. Personality refers to distinguishing psychological characteristics that leads to relatively consistent and enduring responses to the environment. This has great influence over one's buying behavior. Definitely with your personality. Your personality is everything about you. It's about your thinking, it's about your emotion, it's about your behavior, it is about your reaction and to something. So therefore, these things, your personality, your character, it directly affects your decision to choose a certain destination. Example, you are a friendly type, your personality is happy go lucky, you are very outgoing, you are very happy person, you want to be fun. So therefore, the type of destinations that you will choose or you will prefer to visit are those destinations wherein you can talk to people, you can socialize to people, you can have fun, you can interact with people most of the time, and not those destinations wherein most of the people are not talking to each other because they are busy doing their own stuff, or destinations wherein you will just take picture, look at a certain piece of art in a museum. So therefore, your personality, whether you like it or not, affects the kind of the decision, the affects the kind and the type of destination that you want. As I mentioned to you, ladies and gentlemen, the topic for today is very simple. What are the different factors that make a person to visit or to travel to that destination? And there are so many actually, but we will point out today again the fundamental, the ultimate, and the primary driving forces that actually contributes to their decision to do so. All right. Next is the buyer decision process. First is problem recognition. That's the very first one. Before you purchase a certain product, before you go to a certain destination, there's a problem that you want to solve. And that particular problem is something that should be clear to you. Example, I am burned out. I am so stressed with my work. That is the problem. Information search is what are the available materials, available information, as it says here, that can actually suffice or provide solution to the problem. So you try to look for certain destination. Am I gonna go to spa, visit museum, go to a certain destination for a short period of time, or just have a check-in in the hotel? And then, for instance, you decided to go to a hotel. You search about the different hotel. You come up to 3 5-star hotel. That is evaluation of alternatives now. After after searching for possible options, you evaluate the options. Halimbawa, you're decided already, I will go to 5-star hotel. You have three options. You try to talk about now. It's price, the considerations before you decide, the prices, the inclusions per night, what are the possible activities that you can do, and if that particular hotel can really provide the best solution to your problem, which is relaxation because you are so burned out or stressed out. All right. Next is the purchase decision. This is the transaction. This is where you will actually decide to purchase or buy the item or the product. All right, in which you will now go to the hotel that you preferred, or you will go to the destination. Next is, after checking in, nakapag-check out ka na, for post-purchase evaluation is that it is about evaluating, assessing whether lahat ba nung dapat mong ma-attain is nagawa mo, lahat ba ng kailangan mong makuha na serbisyo ay nakuha mo, but most importantly is, nagawa mo ba masolusyonan yung problema mo out of availing the product? Kasi malalaman mo lang yun after the post-purchase. Alright? Na-relax ka ba talaga? Or baka after, yung stay mo, yung buong stay mo dun sa hotel, mas lalo ka pang na-stress dahil sa quality na ipino-provide nila. So just remember this buyer decision-making process. It's simply because regardless of what industry it is, sometimes it's the core problem. You search, then you evaluate the alternatives, and then you purchase, and then you analyze or assess the purchasing activities, and that is the post purchase evaluation. Okay.